Hey friends, family, and folks, thanks for tuning in. Sorry I missed last week. Sometimes life just takes you by the hand and it gets away from you. So I'm going to try to summarize where have we been and where are we going and what have we done. And I don't know, I just thought for fun, I might say, since we talked last, actually Bill, who is the co-host with me on this book review on totalitarianism, and he's a funny guy, and he is, and he started the meeting out with, well, what a year it's been in the last week. And I said to Michael, who was beside me, we could say that absolutely every week that we've joined in. What a year it's been since I seen you last week. Because politically, crap just keeps coming down, eh? And I use that because that's what Donald Trump used. Do you remember that? He sent out some sort of meme once where he was letting excrement go down on the people. I think it was of Minnesota. I'm actually not sure because not being sure is the point. Okay? I want you to get the point. Not being sure is the point. The point is when we look at fascio is my new term. Fascio was used by Monolini, who was the first person to be recorded as being a true and to give credence to the term and actually had us develop the term fascist, right? And fascio in Italian means stick or bundle of sticks, depending on whether you do it plural, and I don't know Italian enough to tell you one term from the other. But he used that as a symbol. And the sad part is he was looking at unity. Unity is so damn important, isn't it? That we link arms in things that we believe in. So on the right track, just for the bad reasons, not the good reasons. And I don't like to do the old us and M, but we're at a point in our lives and in our time of history that we kind of got to do the us and M. That's just the reality of it. And I guess I want to say he used that as a symbol, saying one stick you can break it, but a whole bundle of them together, you can't. And that's what he did. He used unity. And so what we've been talking about in the last 2 weeks in the totalitarianism review of the book by Hannah Arendt is like me trying to take the Rocky Mountains and take a picture of it and show it to you. Or show you the full harvest moon that's big and round and hanging pregnant in the sky. Take a picture of it and send it to you. We all know how that works. It doesn't. So for me to try to sum up the rich, incredulous conversations, more so than the book, that we had in the last 2 weeks really isn't possible. So that I don't take 2 hours of your time, I'm going to try to say to you this. We can stand together for good or we can stand together for bad. And there's really powerful things that help us do that. I'm going to name them: fear, hate, anger, and control. That's for the bad, right? Because when you can instill a fear, boy, do you have someone motivated, right? You can run, but if there's a tree falling and you're trying to run away from it, you'll run faster. Fear is such a motivator. Anger, what a great motivator, right? I can scrub the floor like there's no tomorrow when I'm angry. So control, once you get them fear and full of anger, you can pretty much control them. So the narrative that has been fed in today's world, which started with Mussolini, who was the first to control an entire population with fascism, and I know we're talking about totalitarianism and there's a slight difference, but I don't think it matters when we get down to terms. I'm not really interested. What I'm interested is what do I see and what do I hear? I'm seeing and I'm hearing the same things that we heard from Mussolini when he completely took control of the entire country. Once you have fear, once you have anger, and once you have a bit of hate, you'll rat out your daughter for hate, you know? It's just crazy. It's crazy. And we always get into these really complex conversations about the fact that we are complex human beings. I know all of you that love me out there and probably think, oh, Susie, she's just so lovely. Susie Sunshine, that's what they call me, right? Yeah, well, I got a dark side. I got shadows. I got things that aren't good, right? So do you. And there's no sense not looking at it. But we have evolved. And we have a brain that falters to hate, fear, anger, and control, right? when it's not, when it's alarmed, right? So that's what the latest administration did, is create a narrative of alarm, right? This is what's going to happen if you don't vote for me, and this is what's happening to you, and this is why you're angry, because no one's been paying any attention to you, and no politician has listened to you, and they're all crooked, except for me, right? Except for me, I'm going to make it all better. And I know that's politics in many ways, because how else are you going to get a vote if you don't say, hey, I'm going to help you, right? But most politicians can stay within the system. Some politicians don't want to play in the system, and we might be seeing that right now with the bombing of Iran. Just saying, right? No vote from Congress, no imminent danger. Just, I think they were going to bomb, I think Israel was going to bomb them, so that meant they were probably going to bomb us. That's a consequence. That's not imminent danger. And if it isn't imminent, in that if I don't call the troops right at the moment, my country might be invaded, then you have a right to do that. But otherwise, if it's not imminent, you are to go to Congress and get a vote. So it's illegal. You people know all this, right? I'm just saying that's what we talked about, was fear, anger, hate, and control. And a bundle of sticks together. If you can get people unified on all that stuff and you keep them there, you got great control. And it won't change, right? And certainly the vote won't change. So I guess I'm here to also offer to the conversation that you can do all that for good, right? And so, oh, Canada, let's do it for good. Let's link arms. Let's be aware of what happened with Mussolini, right? And Stalin. And then Hitler learned, what did Mussolini do right? What did Stalin do right? What did each one of them do wrong? And I'm going to do it better, and he did, right? That's being repeated in today's world, right? You know it. I know it. And it's high time somebody say it. So, that's what we've been talking about. Because I can't say it as well as Bill did, but he basically said, if you're not forewarned, what did he say? Basically, education is key. So we're trying to educate each other. And what I don't know, someone else does. And what they don't know, maybe I do. I know how to make tea. And to love people. And, you know, we all have our gifts. Those are my gifts, I suppose. And they all joke that I can make chocolate cake, but I can't even really do that very well. Not like my mama. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I don't know if that's a good summary, because there's just a whole year that has happened in the last 2 weeks. And all we're saying is, I think it's attributed, Michael taught me last night, to Mark Twain. History doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does rhyme. And that's what really makes my nose wrinkle up. It's just like, really? Like, are we falling for this again? And if not now, when? You know, I'm saying that to the power of the people in every country on the planet. If not now, when? So if we are sitting well as a country, and we can help others, and we can unify for good, let's do it now. It's not about right and left, people. It's about freedoms. It's about democracy. And with this holy war that has been named that just because they want to use the book of Revelations, well, let me reveal something to you about the book of Revelations. It was written by the Romans way late in the program. Why? Because they wanted to operate under fear, hate, control, and anger, right? It's a mess. Regardless of someone's faith, understanding, want to respect them all. But it is not to be used for bloodshed. And I don't know how to quote it, but Bill wore a shirt last night that said, if you have an ink spot, you don't use more ink to take it out. If you have a wine spot, I'm just picking that one because I get lots of those, you don't use more wine to get it out. If you have bloodshed, you don't use more to get it out. You know? So the complexity of human nature, and none of us are anywhere near perfect, that's for sure, and nor do we want to be. And I just think if we can unify together, if we can braid, if we take the analogy away from a bundle. Hey friends, family, and folks, I guess that got cut off. I didn't realize it till I got in. And So just to finish that, if we can borrow from the indigenous culture that, three strands are stronger than one, and that's why a braid is so strong for a rope. If we can braid together love, peace, and hope, if we can braid together generosity, kindness, and self-control, if we can braid together really good things and stand unified, and try not to tear each other down. Crabs in the Bucket is a song sang by a Canadian band. And if you put one crab in a bucket, you got to put a lid on it because that baby going to get out, right? You put two crabs in it, 3 or 4, you don't need to worry about it because one will pull the others down. So when you see people who hunt crabs, they only put a lid on it if they have more than one. So we don't want to be crabs in a bucket. We don't want to tear each other down. We want to lift each other up. And that song says, I got to go down before I can get up. You got to go down below other people and lift them up. And that's what the crab learns. If I go down, if I keep going down, it lifts the whole pile of us up and some of us get out, right? And it's all about lateral racism, really, that song. So divide and conquer is the oldest trick in the book. And to keep us so busy looking here, looking there, this is happening, war is going on, tariffs, you can't even keep up with the dynamics. Kristi Noem being fired because, she is the one who shot her puppy. Like, it just goes on and on. Like, you can't believe it. It's shockingly unshocking after a while. And it does bring us to a numb state. And that's all the tactics, right? All those tactics have been used before. And we're seeing the cousins or the brothers and sisters to that in today's world. And that's what we're trying to study. So that if we can study the past, we might have some idea what's happening now and what's coming in the future. And sadly, we already see it happening. But we cannot give up hope. Gather in pubs, gather in your home, sing, dance. The antidote to this is joy, hope, singing, poetry, arts, right? Loving the person in front of you. I encourage us all to do the same. And if you get a chance to come out to the Canadian Peace Museum, who the leader has been offered to go to speak at the Geneva UN meeting. I don't know much about it yet, but wow, right? We got good stuff coming on. Come on out Wednesday night, 7 to 8, Canadian Peace Museum right near the new Tim Hortons. And if you want to know more, contact me. And please let me know what you think below. What are you thinking? What are your concerns? What do you want addressed? I'll bring it up at the meeting. And stay tuned for part 2, because part 2, I'd said at the beginning, I'm going to say this for fun, but it's a little off color. So if you want to take in that one for fun, take in part 2. If you don't, if you're easily offended, don't. Okay, cheers. Thanks for tuning in.